Attempts to address the crisis lost in a flurry of blame and counterblame. The two states that are jointly supposed to be driving a political negotiation could clearly not be further apart.
Instead of pursuing peace, Russia and Assad make war. Instead of helping get life-saving aid to civilians, Russia and Assad are bombing the humanitarian convoys, hospitals, and first responders who are trying desperately to keep people alive.
In Syria, hundreds of groups are being armed. The territory of the country is being bombed indiscriminately, and bringing peace is almost an impossible task now because of this.
A plea from the Egyptian ambassador seemingly falling on deaf ears.
The implementation of the recent Russian-American agreement on the cessation of hostilities is the only available opportunity to achieve a ceasefire and restart the political process before it's too late.
The stormy session ultimately raised more questions than answers, and even before it began, the UK ambassador was questioning whether the US-Russian initiative continued to have any validity whatsoever.
The US-Russia track is very, very near the end of its life, and yes, the Security Council needs to be ready to fulfill our responsibilities.
Yet again, the UN Special Representative to Syria outlined the scope of the crisis, and yet again, Security Council members failed to agree on ways in which to address it. The only point of agreement, that the civilians of Aleppo are suffering the most sustained bombardment since the beginning of the civil war. Well over 250,000 people are now living in a state of siege, while the diplomats in New York appear intent on making political points. And compounding this diplomatic meltdown, a statement of frustration from the Syrian opposition, saying that it would not be part of any process in which Russia was involved, contending that as a party to the conflict, Russia had no interest in ending it. And an all too fitting conclusion to this divided meeting, Western ambassadors walking out while the Syrian representative was speaking, delivering a mortal blow to any pledge of political dialogue. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera at the United Nations.